So, about 6 months ago, I made a video talking about the games I wanted to see come to the Switch 2. And I predicted a few things on there, or at least got close to the general vicinity of what was going on. So, what better way to, talk about the Switch 2 than to make another one for pure fun? Just a heads up, things that are already on the Switch 2 as of October 1st are not going to be on this list. This is also going to be a pretty short video and it will be in no particular order. It's just a fun, silly, goofy video that I wanted to make a while ago, but only recently got to because I had a huge backlog of videos and a lot of tech problems. I love technology sometimes. Anyway, any video game is a viable choice here, but I'm sticking primarily to Nintendo games, and any game that has already been announced for the Switch 2, again as of October 1st, is not going to be included. So that means no Mario Galaxy 2, because that is already on the Switch 2, and yeah, I hope to get my hands on it. So with all that rambling out of the way, let's get into it. We're starting off this list strong with a rather peculiar choice. Mario Party 5, aka one of my favorite Mario Party games in the entire franchise. This game was arguably one of Nintendo's stronger entries in the early days of Mario Party, and remains one of my absolute all-time favorites to this day. This game had one of the best selection of mini-games ever, with games such as Chip Chase, Ground Pound Down, Coney Day, Leaf Leap, Mazed and Confused, and one of my all-time favorites, 2-Bit or Lose It. Heck, some of these games were so good they were even brought back in Mario Party Superstars, which was cool to see. The boards are adorable, and it was the game where Koopa Kid became a playable character. Also, Nintendo, bring back the GOAT! Bring him back, for crying out loud! The man hasn't had any spotlight for over 2 decades! Come on, please! As I mentioned just a few seconds ago with Koopa Kid, this game has never had a port in the 22 years that it's existed, which is honestly really sad. But that's the case with, well, the majority of the GameCube games, except for the main ones like, Luigi's Mansion or Mario Sunshine, those games. However, with the Nintendo Switch 2, porting a lot of GameCube games, I'd love to see if Mario Party 5 will follow with the trend and revive some of the more forgotten games of the GameCube era along with it. Make it happen, Nintendo! Make it happen! I haven't delved much into my love of Zelda on this channel, but believe me when I say this, I love the Legend of Zelda series. It's one of my favorite series Nintendo has ever made. One of my favorite entries being Twilight Princess, and apparently, this is a rather common opinion amongst the Legend of Zelda fans. Twilight Princess is beloved by many, and honestly, it's kind of easy to see why. This game really excels in its story, characters, its immersive world, and it's overall quite fun to play, especially when you are a wolf. I don't know why, but I liked playing as Wolf Link. It was a nice change of pace from running around and screaming, "Yeah!" and swinging a sword around like a bat. And to be honest, it is shocking that this game hasn't gotten a single port since it was released on both the GameCube and the Wii almost 20 flippin' years ago? What's going on, Nintendo? Did you just forget that this game existed? I highly doubt it. Nah, the most likely explanation is Wind Waker came around, and this might be a bit of a hot take here, and I'm definitely gonna get some flack, but I think it stole Twilight Princess's thunder, what little it had. I would love to see that thunder reignited with an HD remake of this game, or even a port. We'll just have to wait and see what the future holds for this title. I really hope it's good news, though. I know! There are a lot of GameCube games here, and it's not the last one you'll see on this list. Star Fox has an interesting relationship with Nintendo. It's one of the series that Nintendo just makes remake after remake after remake after remake for. However, there was a time where we were getting some pretty damn good Star Fox games. And one of those games was Star Fox Adventures, released in 2002 on the GameCube. And it wasn't too popular at the start. It actually took some time before this game became pretty well loved in the Star Fox fandom. Heck, I'd even go as far to say that this game is easily in my top 3 Star Fox games by far. Anyway, this game features quite a bit of exploration, interesting combat thanks to Crystal's staff that Fox finds early in the game, and the surprising lack of a blaster. Fun fact, apparently the reason Fox couldn't have his blaster is because it's a diplomatic mission and Pepper didn't really want a lot of damage. But if you want the development reason, basically it was just a retheming. And also, Rare didn't really want to put a gun in their game. Anyway, the staff combat is actually a really nice change of pace. Sure, it's a little bit dated, but to me it's still enjoyable. Now, I feel like this game could really use an HD remake, but then again, knowing Nintendo, they'll most likely just give this game a port, or maybe even remake Star Fox 64 for the umpteenth time while they're at it. Honestly, that makes me insanely sad. But at the same time, I get it. Making games costs a lot of money and a lot of time. But please, Nintendo, give Star Fox Adventures the respect it deserves and make an HD remake of it, or at least port it, please! Finally, an entry on this list that isn't a freaking GameCube game! Anyway, Sonic and Mario had a very interesting friendship over the last few decades, with them often competing head-to-head in things, but it seems the two frenemies have settled on a truce and are now more chill. Yeah. But at a certain point in their rivalry, we got an amazing gem of a game called Mario and Sonic at the Olympics on the Wii. A game series that I didn't play until I was in high school. And let me tell you this, I love this game series. Seeing Mario and his pals and Sonic and his pals going head-to-head in friendly Olympic games is actually something I didn't know I needed until I ended up playing the original game on the Wii. This series hasn't had a new installment since Mario competed in Tokyo in 2020 for the Nintendo Switch. The only thing we can really hope for is that Nintendo either ports one of the games, we get a remake of one of the games, preferably the original, or we get a new entry in the series. But then again, with Sonic pairing up with the Olympics in 2026, who knows? Maybe this has a decent chance of actually happening. Let's just hope that this series will return because man oh man, it was peak for its time and it's still pretty fun to play after all these years. Mario has had a lot, and I mean a lot of sports games, but some of them don't get much recognition like the others do. One of those games being Mario Sports Mix, a collaboration between Nintendo and Square Enix, which is a very interesting combo if you ask me. But this wasn't Nintendo's first rodeo with the Square Enix collaboration. Mario Sports Mix remains one of my all-time favorite Mario sports games of all time. Easily my second one, just behind Mario Sluggers. That's gonna spark a war in the comments. Anyway, in this game, you have ice/roller hockey, dodgeball, basketball, and volleyball with Nintendo characters and some characters over from Square Enix. Whether it's hawking people in the face with a dodgeball or breaking someone's ankles with a hockey stick, this game is a lot of fun. We haven't had a sports game like Mario Sports Mix in a while, so I believe that the best course of action here would be porting it over to the Switch too. I know that I said before in some other video on this channel that I wanted it on the Switch, but with the Switch's lifespan coming to an end sometime soon, I think porting it to the Switch 2 is the best option on the table. Make it happen, Nintendo! Give Mario Sports Mix the respect and love it deserves! Now, I know this game is a hot take because a lot of people did not and still do not like this game. But me being me and only having played this game and beaten it one time, I really want to see Paper Mario Color Splash be given another shot. Paper Mario Color Splash came out on the Nintendo's darkest console of all, the Wii U. It was a really dark time, and this game was, let's just say, not very well received, to put it lightly. This game was pretty unique because it possessed some of the humor that made the Thousand Year Door so successful and funny. This game was hilarious, wacky, fun, irritating, and freaky as heck sometimes. But overall, the boss battles were more enjoyable than Sticker Star. It was pretty awesome and unexpected to see the Koopalings make their paper debut, but mostly exciting. Also, the inclusion of Huey was actually really good. He's a really good partner and a lot more tolerable than Kirsty, that's for damn sure. But then again, that's just my opinion. This game was definitely something. A good something, but still definitely something. I'm really hoping it gets ported over to the Switch too, so everyone can experience its insanity once again. Whenever someone mentions Mario Party, I'm usually instantaneously thinking of either Mario Party DS, Mario Party 5, Mario Party 9, Superstars, or Jamboree. However, another one that I think of a lot is Mario Party 8. For whatever reason, my brain has latched onto this specific entry of the Mario Party franchise and refused to let go of it for literal years. This Mario Party is considered one of the best in the franchise, a sentiment I also agree with. This game's minigame selection could rival Mario Party 5's, and it does. Especially with Booting Gallery, Shake It Up, Crops and Robbers, Punch a Bunch, Breakneck Building, and then there are some nightmare minigames like Flip the Chimp, Rudder Madness, Frozen Assets, Cut from the Team. Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of hoping that Nintendo makes like one giant Mario Party pack and puts Mario Party 1 through 10 in there and calls it Mario Party Deluxe. But then again, when is that ever gonna happen? Probably never, but I'm still hopeful. Even if it's a wild thought for a whole Mario Party pack, or even just Mario Party 5 or Mario Party 8, I really hope it'll become a reality for the Switch too, to at least get one old Mario Party game on there. I guess all we can do is hope. I mentioned before in another video how I wish Paper Mario 64 would get a little bit more attention in the modern gaming sphere, and that fact is still true to this very day and very moment as I'm recording this. Paper Mario 64, a game that was supposed to be a sequel to Super Mario RPG, kicked off one of Mario's most popular spin-off series, and also kicked off one of my personal favorite Mario spin-off series. Next to the Mario Kart games, that is. This game is very magical. It's got one of the best stories Mario games have to tell. The characters are funny and pretty memorable. Also, for the late 90s programming and graphics, it's really solid and still fun to play, especially in the toy box area. That is still one of my all-time favorite areas in the entire freaking game, quite possibly the franchise altogether. Also, the fact that this game is 25 years old and it still holds up this well is just insanity to me. Anyway, yeah, the graphics are kind of outdated, but I think a remaster could easily fix that. Well, either a remaster of the entirety of the game or a port to the Switch 2 would be really awesome. Do I think this will happen? Not really. Like the possibility of an Odyssey 2, I doubt in the history of ever this would really happen. But at the same time, I'd be pumped as hell as it did, and I'm desperate to be proven wrong. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up, even though I really want it to happen. Mario Kart World burst the floodgates wide open on the Switch 2. While its reviews have been pretty mixed, it really took me back to the days of another Mario Kart game that has seemingly been left behind in the dust. Mario Kart Double Dash. The only Mario Kart game as of yet that lets you play as two characters at once, using a tandem partner system, which is completely unique to this game, as one of my favorite gimmicks in all of gaming history. Sure, it's a little bit rough around the edges, but that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. Double Dash was released on the GameCube way back in 2003 and has not been touched since. Nintendo seems to have left this game completely in the dust along with many other games. But die-hard fans of the series, including myself, refuse to let this game die. What better way to reignite the hype for this game than slapping it on the Switch 2? then again, it might overshadow Mario Kart World, which Nintendo considers its baby at the moment. But then again, I'd love to see the days of the cooler carts and slapping people with multiple red shells, even though that still happens, and the insane Wario Coliseum return in its full glory. If I could port one game and only one game from this entire list, it would have to be Star Fox Assault. Star Fox Assault is one of my favorite Star Fox games of all time. Ever since I played this game, I was obsessed. The way that Star Fox Assault felt like a shooter adventure game because of the R-Wing, Landmaster, and ground mechanics, which sure aren't really the best, was honestly pretty awesome, especially in the variety of each level, and each level had a certain thing that was going to keep you on your toes, because each one of these unique levels holds a different challenge from the last. One thing this game did excel in is the plot. The plot was actually pretty engaging for a Star Fox game, considering most Star Fox games are shoot here, shoot there, shoot this, go to this planet, shoot some more, dodge this, that, don't forget the barrel roll, and continue over and over and over again until you get to the end of the game and kill Andross for the umpteenth time. Meanwhile, with Star Fox Assault and its very small amount of development time, 3 years to be exact, managed to make the story and plot interesting enough to follow along, at least for me though. That's probably not the case with other players. I also especially enjoyed the R-Wing combat, especially in the Fachina and Corneria levels where you're on top of Falco's R-Wing and Wolf's Wolfen Fighter. Those levels were so cool! The bosses for each area are also really solid. They don't feel like a ripoff of the other bosses from previous Star Fox games, which is a good breath of fresh air for the series. Sure, this game has flaws, such as clunky Landmaster and on-foot controls and glitches in some parts of the game. But other than that, it's still pretty solid, and I argue it's one of the best Star Fox entries in the entire franchise. Now, I wish that this game would be ported, but of all the games on this list, along with Star Fox Adventures, I think the Star Fox games are some of the least likely to get any sort of port or any HD remake. It is stuck on the Nintendo GameCube until Nintendo decides what to do with it. I hope that this game will eventually either be remastered or even ported. I'll settle for a port, but I honestly just don't know at this point. It's highly unlikely that Nintendo will touch these games again, and quite possibly the Star Fox franchise. I hope that's not the case though, because that would be really, really sad. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed my freak ramblings and want to see more, let me know down below in the comments. I just love getting feedback and reading it. It's honestly really awesome. Also, be sure to go check out the original footage as well. The footage is absolutely outstanding. It's down below in the description if you want to go see. Anyway, I can't wait to see you all in the next video, hopefully at a regular schedule. Take care, guys. Bye!